how to choose the right machine shop for your engine build. Before you trust anybody with your block, you're gonna wanna hear this. This might help you save thousands of dollars and months on wasted time. Yo, what's the word? So, don't mind my cup. My wife brought me this cup. I guess she called herself trying to be funny, but whatever. So the reason for this video is because this is what I'm going through currently, and just wanted to make sure you guys don't go through exactly what I'm going through. So basically, be careful on how you choose your machine shop, because choosing the wrong machine shop and not basically knowing what you're doing can cost you a lot of money. So one of the first things that I wrote down, I made a list so we can go through and I don't miss nothing, is make sure you evaluate their expertise and what they specialize in. Make sure you find a machine shop that specialize in your engine build, your platform that you're building. You don't want to go to a machine shop that's just like, that's willing. For me, I wouldn't go to a machine shop that's normally do machine work on Honda motors and then I bring an LS there. You know, you kind of want to find a machine shop that specializes in your platform. You know, and you kind of want to ask them questions like, you know, have you ever built LS motors before? Do you specialize in LS motors? Your LS motors that you build, what type of horsepower did you get out of these motors? Excuse me. Do you do short blocks? Do you do long blocks? Do you assemble motors? Even though those questions might sound like stupid to me, a question not answered, a question that's not asked is a stupid question. So just ask, you know, because you might have a machine shop that's just only that only specialize in just cleaning up the decks. That means, you know, boring them out, resurfacing heads. They might not be great at assembling motors. You know, it comes a lot with assembling motors, checking piston bearings clearance and cam bearing clearance and crank bearing clearance and all of that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they might not specialize in, you know, assembling. They might, you know, be comfortable with just cleaning the block up, you know, and resurfacing the heads, you know. That's just like the machine shop that I took my stuff to. They didn't port and polish heads. So, but they're a machine shop, you know. All machine shop doesn't really kind of like build performance motors. They kind of build motors that's for spec OEM stuff and basically refurbish them. So number one, make sure you find a machine shop that specializes in your platform. Number two, very important, make sure the machine shop that you choose have new equipment. You have a lot of machine shops that's actually using equipment from 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. You know what I mean? Not saying those guys, that's obviously the people that have those type of machines, they've been in the game for the same amount of years. So not saying that they can't do great work, but the way technology is now in 2025, these machines are state of the art. They can give you more precise numbers and you know, help you reach the goals that you're going for. So for me, I would just check their equipment and check their capability of what they can do. You know what I mean? You got some, you know, some people machines and some machine shops, they have they do torque plate horning. That's really good. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got some machine shops that has block decking machines that just deck blocks, and you get what I'm saying? You got, you know, it's a whole bunch of things. You got some machine shops that got crank balancing machines, you know what I'm saying? To balance your rotating assembly, to balance your crank to your pistons and rods, to make sure everything is like in spec, you know what I mean? So for number two, make sure you check their equipment. Choose a machine shop that has more newer state-of-the-art equipment. That's going to help you and going to help you in the long run. Number three, check out their portfolio. check out their reviews. You know what I'm saying? Go on their social media, see what people's talking about them. You know, ask them, do they have, you know, pictures of customers of their previous bills? Like, do they document their bills of, you know, customers tracking that motor, or dyno in that motor, or, you know, see if they got customers that been repeated customers that came back 3 and 4 or 5 times, you know, because if, you know, they have customers that come back and through, clearly, you know, somebody's happy with their work, you know what I mean? Um, Communication, which is number 4, communication and being transparent. If you go to a machine shop that's just like you're trying to communicate with them and they really don't really have too much to say, or they just brushing you off, or, you know, kind of making you feel, or answer you with like one word questions, you know, that could be a red flag. You know what I mean? I want to go to a machine shop that just don't want to take my money, but make me feel happy about taking my money. And I want to feel like you're excited about what I'm excited about, the build that you're about to help me build. Like, you know, I understand that a lot of these machine shops, they do it all day, but, you know, I do know it's no longer a job when you're doing what you love. If you don't love what you're doing, maybe you need to find another career. So again, I want to go to a machine shop that really makes me feel like they're really happy for me, that I'm just not giving them my money, that, you know, they understand my vision, they want to execute my vision. You know what I mean? So communication is very key. You know, explain to them what you want. Ask them questions, like, you know, ask them, is it possible? You know, communicate. Like this machine shop that I've been dealing with, I was very transparent with them, and by me being very transparent and communicating with them, I believe it kind of pissed them off. Like, you know, we had a couple old guys, and they just stuck in their ways. It just, yeah, whatever, yeah, I see what I can do. I'll just call you back. You know what I mean? And it's just, you know, to the point where, you know, I don't even want to go there no more. So make sure you go to a machine shop that have good communication and very transparency. The machine shop that I should have went to, they was actually closer to my home, and they was a little bit more expensive, but I don't want to get into that because that's one of my other bullets on this list. But what I love about them was they invited me to the shop. They invited me to take a walk through the shop. They invited me to show me other motors that they build. They invited me to see cars and riding cars that they have built with their motors that they're built that's actually, you know, located at their facilities, because these are cars that even their employees drive, that works there. Even the owner had built cars that was there of his own, and so he was willing to give me a ride and check him out. And, you know, he even invited me down on a Saturday that they was closed to, you know, he said, Eric, you know, I don't care if you come in 3 or 4 times, come check out the facility, come feel comfortable. You know what I mean? Let us show you what we do and how we do it. They was willing to allow me to see them even build other people's stuff. And for me, you know, that speaks value. And to this day, I kind of regret not going with them to build my motor. So transparent is key. Number 5, this is where I get into number 5, pricing versus quality. Again, you know, just how they make me feel and just doing my research. These people are big, and I seen it even not from their mouth. I seen it on their social medias. I seen it on their reviews. I even came across videos on YouTube where people recommended them, and people from out of state has transported their cars and their motors to this facility for them to build their whole cars. And so me knowing that, I chose price over quality. And the place that I went to now, they gave me a price that was just like, oh my God, like I'll save so much money on this build. And I went there because the price was good. But because the price was good, I've been through so many problems. And it's like now I want to take my whole motor and put it to the side and really start all over from scratch. Because of my experience, because of them not communicating, because of me asking them for an example. When I brought them my block and I bought my rotating assembly, I say, hey, do not get my rings to 20 and 21. Give me a little bit more gap just in case in the future I want to run boost, or not even run boost, but run nitrous. You know what I mean? So I kind of asked them to give me like put my rain gaps at like 28,000s, if I'm saying that right. 28, like just to give me a little bit more wiggle room. And what did they do? They put my rain gap at 20 and 21. You know what I mean? And it's just like simple things like that. I recently just took my heads to them, and they called me back. Brand new heads from Texas Speed. They called me and say, "Hey, we milled down your heads even more. We took 20,000s off because the surface was scratched." And I looked at my heads. My surface wasn't scratched. I mean, it was brand new heads. They never been touched. I did a video for you guys to show you and reveal my heads, but they was not scratched. You know what I mean? That's another thing. Like, you got to find a machine shop that's trustworthy, because it could have been them. But guess what? I never took pictures. I never went through my product with them the same time I dropped it off. So it's like I have no proof. But the moral of the story is, because my motor was like literally down to spec. My compression was supposed to be 11 and 8 to 1. So by them milling my heads down 20,000, it put my CCs down to 65. So Texas Speed, my heads from Texas Speed was at 68. So if they milled them down 20,000s, is at 65s at this point. So what it means is, if I would have used the head gasket that I sent them, which was a 45,000 head gasket, with that 65cc, my compression would have been at 12 to 1. And I want to run 93 octane and not always run E85. That's too high for it. It could be done, but everything will have to be tuned, like precise, with no error, to be able to run 93 with that high compression. So what they should have had done was called me and say, "Hey, Eric, quote unquote, the heads need to be resurfaced, and what is the compression goals again?" Which I already told them. They have all my paperwork with this, all the specs and what I would expect it out of this motor. So with them knowing that my goals for compression was 11, 8 to 1, knowing that you milled the heads down, that head gasket is not going to work. It's going to bring my compression up, and I need to order thicker head gaskets to bring my compression down. Not only that, they was checking push rods. So they called me and told me that my push rods was a 7440. And so I end up ordering the 7440s push rods. But now, because they milled it down, guess what? It's a different push rods length. Even though the 440s, well, I really ordered 450s because a 440 is a custom push rod. So I ordered 450s, which is good. It's still, even though they milled them down and the push rod length actually changes, it's still good. I'll still be okay with the 7450s. But I believe customer service is the key. If y'all seen that before y'all did anything, y'all should have let me know, so that way I can plan and I can do what I need to do on my end. And just in case you guys may have forgotten about my compression goals, I would have been like, "Oh, well, that I have to order a thicker gasket because my compression is up and I need to be at 8 to 1. And it's just communication. So those are sort of the things. Pricing is always not it. Just because the price is good doesn't mean you need to go there. Again, I'd rather spend more money for quality opposed to spending less money because the price is good. So don't always go with pricing. Me personally, quality is more important, because you want your investment built right. You know what I mean? It's not cheap to build a motor. It's really not. You're lucky to build a motor for $10,000 in 2025. And so for me, the reason why I went the route I did, because the route I went with, because I have Redline Motorsport Group backing me. Because of that, a lot of things that I'm either getting for free or I'm getting at a very discounted rate. And so that's the good thing. I would be much more upset if things didn't go right and I really spent all of my money out of pocket and paying retail prices for everything. So You know, for people that have to pay retail prices, that don't have no sponsors, that don't have no help, it can get very pricey. And so that's why it's very important. You know, excuse me. Some people, it's other ways you can go about it. You might can go to Texas Speed and buy a short block from them or a long block from them. Smetting Racing and buy a short block or a long block for them. Summit Racing. Same thing. Redline Motorsport Group. You can go to these places and buy, but for me, there's ways that you could save money. You could get your own block, source out your own rotating kit, a rotating assembly kit, and getting it done, and you might can save $1,000 here, $500 there. But again, even that way, that can kind of cost you money if you choose the wrong machine shop that's not willing to communicate with you and work with you, and you guys work together on this project. You know what I mean? Because this is really an investment. This is your money and your time that you spend, and you want your build to be right. Because at the end of the day, if it's not built right, and once you got it and something happened when it's in your car, you know what I mean? It's now you know. You go on to them. If they give you a hard time and they showing you traits that they're not a good machine shop, but think about if something not going that goes wrong, you're gonna have a bigger problem. So quality is the key. Number 6, ask technical questions. Again, a question not answered to me is a dumb question. I don't care if you ask a protocol question, a question that's common sense. Ask it. Before you ask, do your research. Just in case that when you ask them these questions, that it's totally different of what you've been doing your research on. You know what I mean? Call other machine shops. Call around, shop around, and ask questions. That way, when you're choosing one, you ask them these questions, you can feel confident. You know what I mean? You know, like for example, like I have one written down right here. It says, "Do you measure your rods, your rods clearance during your markup?" That's something that you're supposed to do when you're building it. You want to measure all of that type of stuff. But guess what? 2025, you'd be surprised. You got some machine shops or mechanic shops that don't even do that. They just gonna throw what you put in together just to hurry up and get paid and let you go about your business and hope you don't come back. So you want to ask these questions. You know what I mean? And it's very important. Number seven. Find out if they have warranties. Like, you want to know, like, if they provide, like, what they did. Like, when I got my machine back, my block back, I expected to have like an invoice exactly what they did. I had to go back and figure out what they did not do. You know what I mean? I called them back 3 or 4 times because I didn't get no answer. And the question I called them for was like, hey, what's like, is my pistons coming out of my deck? Is it zeroed out, or is it 2 out the hole or 2 in the hole? And they told me something. I don't know. Like, what? That stuff matters. Little details like that matters. You got to know what type of head gasket you need. You need to know your compression for your goals, whether you're NA or booster. Like those matters. Like those little things matters. They can change your whole build up. Yeah, you can do things by getting a thicker gasket or a thinner gasket to correct it. But again, like I shouldn't have to call them and ask questions and then they tell me they don't know. You know what I mean? And then guess what I had to do? Either buy the tool to check how much my pistons is in the hole or out the hole, or I had to take the motor back all the way down here to an hour and a half drive for them to check it. So you kind of want to ask questions. You want to know if they got build sheets. Ask their warranties. Like, ask them, do they offer like break-in recommendations? You know what I'm saying? You want to know if they warranty is short-term or long-term. You know what I mean? Also, location is the key. Location. Now, this is like I'm gonna take a drink on this because I don't want to say the wrong thing and get chewed out in the comments. How can I say this? Go visit the location. Hopefully they give you a tour of what inside the shop looks like and show you where they do things. However, I'm going to start off by saying it this way. Hopefully when you get in there that the shop is not full of dirt and dust and parts laying around and stuff thrown here and stuff thrown there, because you won't want your motor built in a dusty shop. Definitely a brand new motor, like dust is everywhere. Like, you know, that motor is brand new. You don't want that type of, you don't want a bunch of dust inside it. Believe it or not, like when you're building a motor, like dust can get inside, it can kind of like throw stuff off. Believe it or not, like, you know, that's why when you get your block, you want to kind of like wrap it up in plastic so it won't, no dust won't get in it. Like that is very important. And the reason why I say location and go visit it, because you wanna have a machine shop that's organized, that builds your block. You know what I mean? They need to be organized. You know what I'm saying? You know, if they're messy, then they're possibly gonna build your block messy. You know what I mean? Or you know, definitely outside appearance. You want to see how they upkeep their shop. You know what I mean? That's just like us. When we get up to go to school or go to work, you know, we brush our teeth to make sure our breath ain't on the gates. We brush our hair. We put on clean clothes. We put on make sure our clothes is ironed, because first impression is everything. You know, we live in this world that we are judgmental. You know what I mean? And the way you carry yourself it shows you how much you love yourself. And I believe that the way you carry your business, it shows how much you love your business and you value your customers and you value what you do. Again, you know what I mean? Also see where the shop is located. And what I'm about to say is, just because the shop is located in a bad area doesn't make it a bad shop. You know what I mean? But appearance is the key. Location is the key. Where's it at? Go to the location. Go see how they run their business. Just go see. You know what I mean? So that's a big thing, you know. So I hope that these things help you guys on choosing the right machine shop. Because you know and I know that investing in an engine build is not cheap. It is not cheap. Like I said, you're lucky to build a motor fully forged for $10,000. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to comment and please subscribe. But before I let you guys go, I want to give a big shout out to Redline Motorsport Group. If you're building an LS motor, these guys have everything that you need, from a bare block to a short block to a long block. Whether it's a forge, rotating assembly kit, custom cam, whatever you need, aftermarket heads, a steam port vent kit, they have everything. You can check them out at Redline Motorsport Group. Also, for all my Honda guys, if you need a tune, you might want to check out my good friend, Aaron Tune. I'll put his information somewhere up on the screen. He tunes on the dyno, he tunes on the street, whatever you need, he got you. He has the whole tri-state on lock. Don't forget the name, Aaron Tune. Until next time, I holla!